Ukraine just took out a vital bridge and cut off the Russian army's supplies, but not in the way you'd expect. A Ukrainian MiG-29 took off carrying a single 227-kilo bomb, targeting a bridge in Zaporizhia. The result? Dozens of Russian armored vehicles ran out of fuel. Hundreds of soldiers without supplies. What we're seeing is a whole logistics route collapsing. 2 weeks later, the Russian response came from the sky. 3 tons of destructive power. But the bridge still stood. How did an explosion 13 times smaller cause strategic damage that a 3-ton bomb couldn't? And why can't Russia, with all its arsenal, match Ukraine's effectiveness? These are the questions we'll answer today. Because this wasn't just about destroyed bridges. It was about a revolution in military art, where every GPS coordinate is worth more than a whole battalion. To understand what's happening, we need to go back a bit. Since late 2024, the conflict's landscape changed drastically. The front lines are pretty much frozen. Territorial gains are measured in meters, not kilometers. In this context, what's really shaping the course of operations are surgical strikes against critical logistics infrastructure. And when we talk critical infrastructure, bridges hold a special place. They're not just concrete and steel structures, they're the vital arteries of any modern military operation. A bridge connects not just 2 geographic points, but an entire supply chain, troop movements, heavy equipment, and fuel. Think about it like this. If you cut a main artery in the human body, the whole circulatory system collapses. The same goes for strategic bridges. Destroy a single bridge in the right spot, and you can paralyze dozens of military units, force detours of hundreds of kilometers, and multiply logistics costs exponentially. Now, let's talk about the specific case that changed everything. In the early hours of July 11th, 2025, a Ukrainian Air Force MiG-29 took off on a mission that seemed routine, but became a perfect example of how modern tech can beat brute force. The aircraft was equipped with American-made JDAMER kits, and here we gotta explain what that means in practice. The JDAMER, or Joint Direct Attack Munition Extended Range, is basically a conversion kit that turns a conventional bomb into a GPS-guided precision weapon. In other words, Ukraine can use Soviet-era bombs precisely and more destructively. The weapon used was a GBU-62, weighing 500 pounds, roughly 227 kilos, equipped with this JDAMER kit, and thanks to it, this munition can glide up to 72 kilometers before hitting its target. We're not talking about an uncontrolled free fall, but a guided flight with surgical precision. The guidance system combines high-precision GPS with inertial sensors, resulting in an average deviation of less than 5 meters from the planned impact point. To give you an idea of the precision, that means the bomb can hit a specific room inside a building dozens of kilometers away. But the real genius of the Ukrainian strike wasn't just the bomb tech, but the tactical context it was used in. The aircraft dropped the munition from inside an area protected by Western defense systems, including Patriot missiles. This created an impossible dilemma for the Russians. To try to intercept the bomb in flight, they'd have to activate their S-400 radars, which are their most advanced air defense systems. But the problem is, the moment an S-400 radar is activated, it becomes visible to Western sensors and can be immediately targeted and destroyed. It was a military checkmate. Activating the defense meant losing it. Not activating meant watching the target get destroyed. The Russians chose to preserve their air defense systems, and the bridge went down. The attack's result was documented by satellites, drones, and local observers. The Zaporizhia Bridge, used daily by more than 200 Russian military vehicles, was completely disabled. But the effects went far beyond the physical destruction of the structure. All military, logistics, and even civilian traffic had to be rerouted through an alternative route over 160 kilometers long. And this wasn't a modern highway. The alternative route passed through unstable, muddy terrain extremely vulnerable to new attacks. The numbers speak for themselves. Tanker trucks started burning twice as much fuel just to reach their destination. Logistics delays doubled. Trucks loaded with supplies and equipment began getting stuck in the mud. Spare parts and support gear simply didn't arrive on time anymore. But the worst impact was on BMP-3 armored vehicles, which ran out of proper refueling. One single explosion turned into a chain logistics crisis affecting entire units. The situation got so critical that Russian forces had to resort to Il-76 cargo planes to try to keep a minimum supply flow going. But this created new problems, since each ton transported by air cost 3 times more, and the planes became easy targets for Ukrainian missiles and drones patrolling the region. 2 weeks after the Ukrainian strike, Russia decided to show its response capability. And for that, they brought out their strongest car, the FAB-3000. This is a 3-ton munition with approximately 1.4 tons of explosives. The FAB-3000 was equipped with the UMPK kit, which is the Russian equivalent of the American JDM concept. The UMPK kit allows the bomb to be guided by GLONASS, Russia's satellite navigation system, and can glide up to 80 kilometers before impact. The chosen target was highly symbolic: the bridge connecting the Korabel neighborhood to downtown Kherson. This bridge, which crosses the Kashova River, is one of the main supply routes for Ukrainian troops in the southern region. The FAB-3000 was dropped from a Russian fighter, probably a Su-34, one of the Russian Air Force's most modern aircraft. The impact was truly spectacular. The explosion created a significant crater, pierced the bridge deck, and damaged some support structures. However, even with all that destructive power, the bridge did not fall. Unlike the Ukrainian strike, which completely disabled the structure and collapsed the whole region's logistics, the Russian attack caused localized but non-incapacitating damage. Traffic was halted for a few days, that's true, but after temporary structural reinforcements, the bridge partially resumed operations. Local authorities confirmed that light vehicles were able to cross again, and even some military vehicles managed to pass with special precautions. This brings us to a fundamental question. Why couldn't a bomb 6 times heavier and with 6 times more explosives cause proportional damage? The answer lies in the difference between precision and raw power. The Ukrainian attack was planned to hit the bridge's most vulnerable structural point, probably a support pillar or a critical joint. The Russian attack, although much more powerful, apparently missed a structurally critical spot. Let's look at the numbers to understand better. While a JDMER costs roughly $30,000 per unit, a FAB-3000 with UMPK kit costs at least $100,000, plus requiring a specialized aircraft and more fuel consumption for transport and launch. Ukraine used an aircraft from the 1980s. The MiG-29 was developed in the 70s and 80s, equipped with modern adapted tech, managing to eliminate a target with lasting logistical impact. Russia, with its newer, more powerful munition, couldn't cause permanent damage to an urban bridge. But the evolution doesn't stop there. Recent information, confirmed in February 2025, shows Ukraine became the first country in the world to use 1,000-pound JDMERs. These were specially developed for Ukrainian use, showing how military technology rapidly adapts to battlefield needs. With Western support, Ukraine now has over 18 aircraft capable of operating with these guided munition kits. The Pentagon has already promised to send 900 more kits by the end of 2025, creating an impressive multiplying effect. Each aircraft can carry 2 bombs per mission, which means potential for 36 surgical strikes in a single day, without even needing to cross enemy lines thanks to the bomb's extended range. But beyond physical damage, there's a psychological component that can't be ignored. These bridge attacks demonstrate that no spot is really safe. Every bridge becomes a potential target. Every convoy feels exposed. Every commander needs to rethink their supply routes. Moreover, intelligence sources indicate Ukraine is planning a systematic campaign of strikes on logistic structures, prioritizing railways and tactical viaducts. Upcoming potential targets include the railway viaduct near Mariupol, and more symbolically, the famous Crimea Bridge, which was already attacked previously in June 2025. The Russians haven't stood still either. Since early 2025, they've started implementing more sophisticated electronic countermeasures. According to Forbes reports, Ukrainian forces began jamming the navigation signals of Russian UMPK munitions, significantly reducing their accuracy. This electronic offense forced the Russians to use up to 16 explosives to hit a single target that before would have been destroyed with 1 or 2 bombs. Ukrainian countermeasures interfere with satellite guidance, making the expensive Russian bombs much less effective. The reality is we're seeing a revolution in how modern conflicts are fought. This is the era of precision confrontations, where operational intelligence, tactical planning, and cutting-edge technology beat traditional brute force. The lesson is clear. It doesn't matter the size of your bomb if you can't put it in the right spot. A 500-pound explosion in the exact place is worth more than a 3-ton blast in the wrong spot. This shift has implications far beyond the current conflict. We're witnessing the birth of a new military doctrine where infrastructure structures become priority targets, and the ability to strike precisely at long range completely redefines the balance of power. But the story doesn't end there. Recently, information surfaced about a new generation of even more advanced munitions. Next-gen JDMERs include optical sensors that allow real-time adjustments during flight, increasing precision even more. These smart bombs can literally change targets mid-flight if they detect a more valuable opportunity. Imagine a bomb programmed to hit a bridge, but that identifies a tank convoy crossing it at that exact moment. It can adjust its impact point to damage both the bridge and the vehicles. One of the most significant consequences of this new precision era is the reduction of civilian casualties. Surgical strikes against military infrastructure cause much less collateral damage than conventional offensives. In the case of the Zaporizhzhia Bridge, there were no civilian casualties recorded, even though the structure also serves local traffic. The bomb's precision allowed the strike to be carried out during low civilian movement hours, minimizing risks to the population. This is a fundamental change in the nature of modern conflicts, the ability to cause maximum strategic impact with minimal humanitarian impact. One bridge destroyed with a 500-pound bomb. One air defense system neutralized without a single shot fired. An entire logistics chain collapsed with one single precise hit. Meanwhile, a 3-ton bomb barely managed to stop traffic for a few days. This is the new art of military strategy, a contest where every GPS coordinate is worth more than a whole platoon, where precision beats power, and where operational intelligence decides more battles than numerical superiority. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is showing us the future of modern warfare. A reality where affordable technology, smart planning, and precise execution can neutralize traditional advantages of size and firepower. We're witnessing a historic transformation in military art. 21st century generals no longer need thousands of soldiers to cause strategic impact. They need exact coordinates, perfect timing, and precision technology. So, what do you think? Should future battles prioritize these precision tactics against infrastructure? Or is there still room for traditional open field offensives? Is this tech revolution making conflicts more or less dangerous for civilians? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if this content brought you info you didn't know, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The next bridge attack might be the next chapter of this evolving story.